So let's see, third graders. We are reading. What's the name of our story here? Thank you, baby robots. Okay. Sorry, that was just kind of funny. Where is your book? Every day. I don't understand how you guys are misplacing your books and
by itself.
Like literally every day I have one of you who has lost their book. It doesn't even make sense.
And then you have.
I know we don't have as much room in this classroom, but there's no way that the book just disappears by itself, okay? I'm going to say, look at this. Rudy, I think, took your book because he had 2 literature anthologies in his basket. Don't know why. Okay, please turn to page 132 of the story. Amy, that needs to go away. Amy, like zip it up in that backpack or throw it away. But we do not want to see it again.
So, on number 1.
Okay, cool. Right, so we see them.
We're gonna kind of go through this together.
Can you read? And remember, we're discussing this a lot. Sure. Read loud and proud, Ashlyn.
My dad will choose.
Yeah, start on that page.
Okay. Don't listen to another word.
What word has the diagram?
Grandpa's brother Morris met him. The boat docked.
Did you get that already? You had it? Alright.
The boat docked
Okay.
first at Ellis
Number 2.
Island.
Isaiah, read it.
We sat for hours and waited to be inspected. Not everyone who
So what words have diagrams in them?
if you were sick, you have to go back. I was so afraid that they would find something wrong with me. But thank God I passed every test.
Okay, so right there. And I know you guys talked about this. I heard at least Haiti and Valerie talking about this with Mrs. Huerta yesterday, right? What did you guys say about, their visit, their trip to Ellis Island? Okay, they just can't, they have to take the test. Hey! No. Honey, we are having a discussion. Go, be gone.
Reading's a third grader now.
Okay, so they can't just pass, they can't just go in, they have to pass the test, and what happens if they don't?
So, picture.
They'll get sick, you pass the test, you get sick. Boo!
Picture.
What did you discuss? I know you did.
Yeah.
They had to go back to Russia.
They had, right? In this case, they had to go back to Russia. They had to go back from where you came. Back from whence you came. Now, you do not get to stay here. You can't pass our test, or if you're sick, or, we don't want you germy folks here. Okay? Good. And remember, we talked about how these families, they came from Russia. And why did they come? Why did they come? Why was it important? Turn back to your neighbors at the tables. Keep your distance, please. They're down here. You two, you talk with Amy. Amy, get off the floor. Okay, no, you throw that away now. You were given plenty of time to zip it out. Instead, you're playing. No, throw it away.
Question again.
Throw it away. Thank you. Okay. The question is, why did they come from Russia? Why did they come? You guys can look back in the text if you want. That's fine. Go back in the text. Sam and Troy, you two can discuss. Oh, okay. All right. Hold on then. We're waiting for some others to catch up with you. Yes, he did. Yep. It was very speedy fast. He was prepared. He got his hair cut and everything. So why did Amy get out from underneath the table? Amy.
Singular means one. Plural means.
Okay, you can go visit Mrs. McCarthy,
We have.
or you can get out from under the table. Okay, why don't you tell these two?
That's the first one, yeah, picture. And then, so that's singular.
I don't care. If she brings the tinfoil back in here and plays with it,
Picture of water.
it'll get thrown away. So, anyway,
So for singular, that's.
I don't care that you make things out of the tinfoil. I care that she plays with them in class instead of doing it.
There's more than one.
I think it's cool and very creative that she plays with the tinfoil,
So,
like, and makes things out of it. Like, you just don't get to do it in class instead of, right?
so
Okay. I don't have a problem if you want to do that on your own time. That's totally fine. It's very creative little thing. You just can't play with everything, right? Okay. Okay. All together now.
All together.
What?
Okay, that's okay. Go back. For now. Okay, so why did they come? Why did they come from Russia? Why was that important? Amy? What?
I didn't see that.
Okay, well, I'm asking for you to talk right now. So, and don't you raise your hand if you have one to share. Your choice was to mess around during the time. So, don't raise your hand to answer if you didn't get a chance. Think about it because you're too busy playing. Why did they come from Russia? Why did they come?
The pictures
Luis?
owns it's their
Yeah.
It's their ball.
To visit.
No, not to visit. Jaya?
They were treated bad in Russia.
They were treated bad. Why were they treated bad, Troy?
Because they were Jews. Sometimes they were attacked just because they were Jews. Because in the text on page 130, it says sometimes we were attacked just because we were Jews. We had to leave Russia any way we could.
Ownership.
Ding, 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 right? So because of their, if you knew that, excellent, okay? Because of their, yeah, that's what you do. Just be agree. You don't need to say, that's what I was going to say. You just, oh, yeah. Okay, all right, just quiet agreement. Okay, right, because they were Jews and they were attacked in Russia, they wanted to come to somewhere where they could practice their religion.
It's this way.
And it's
Right.
America.
Show ownership.
Okay,
Apostrophe. That's possession.
what?
There's symbol for freedom.
Well, we've talked about the American symbols for freedom, and we'll get back into that in a few minutes. But right now, we're going to get on toast. Okay, so on the next page, 133.
Okay, so it's
Oh, well, let's talk about it really quick. So don't listen to another word Julie's grandmother said. Grandpa's brother Morris met him,
Yeah.
right? So we probably made the prediction earlier when he's talking about flying across on a goat, or with a goat and a golden wagon that jumped across. Okay, we probably, I think most of you guys said,
But
I don't think this story is real.
Miss,
Look at
Right.
if you go to the stars
You're just saying
of the name,
pictures.
go to the star, it says
There's lots of pictures.
fiction. So that
But
fiction means
Like,
not
look at that
real.
apostrophe.
Right.
So you-
Historical fiction, not real. So that was our first hint. But
Fiction sounds like it's real.
right. Okay. So
So it's not yes. Like
so right there, and then so we knew that story was made up because Julie's grandmother said that's a story, all right, but it's not true. And then she told us how he really came over. And then he says, what a welcome I got when I arrived. President Theodore Roosevelt rode his horse through a blizzard of ticker tape to greet me. And we talked about ticker tape being like that paper that they're throwing around during celebrations, right? And a blizzard because it was so thick. Okay. And so once again, our prediction is probably like how many of you believe? Thumbs up if you believed that the president rode a horse to meet him when he came over. Thumbs up if you believe, thumbs down if you did not believe that.
I could see him in the picture.
It's okay if initially the first read you believed. I mean, if that's what you believe, that's fine.
Miss, I see him in the picture when they were getting inspected.
Right, or if you're looking at the picture, you see him at the picture right after the inspection. What?
But at the start, and you look at the picture, you can see like a guy looking at the moon, and there's like something in his other hand,
So,
and it's like bitten. And if you look at the moon, it's just like that.
Oh, right. Well, at the beginning of the story, remember, he talked about
is it?
That's
his friend Mushi, right, who said that the moon was made out of
This is where it gets.
matzah, which we said was it's like a cracker or a cookie. Okay.
So he made a duplicate.
So anyway, that's just what that was. Okay, all right. It's a flat like cracker like bread eaten for Passover. Okay. All right. So let's get back to. So you guys probably, when you heard his next story, because you knew his other couple stories were a little bit make believe, right? Like we're a little bit make believe.
Yeah, but like
What? Okay, we'll try to fix it. We need to fix Troy's too because he like ripped the whole sheet out.
Well, I didn't even know. But the part where it said, do right here, where it says, but what buttons I had, buttons carved from diamonds, emeralds, and rubies, buttons as big as saucers.
Okay, hold on. So you skipped ahead already, bud. So hold on. Let's finish this. You guys keep interrupting me to be super excited about other parts, which is great. But let's finish the discussion here. Okay, is that we could, our prediction, if we made it saying, his story is probably malarkey, was confirmed by, Jay, stop playing with that or it's going to have to live up there, was confirmed by Julie's grandma who said, no, that's not, don't listen to another word, right? That's not true. Okay, so,
No. Because you're adding the S already.
so on the next page, who would like to read that next page?
Yes.
Rudy?
Hooray, Julia.
Julie shouted.
Julie shouted.
Yes.
Thank you, dear.
Yes.
Julie's grandmother said.
Okay, Rudy, loud and proud, but I know through the mask it's kind of hard, but he said, hooray, Julie shouted. Thank you, dear, Julie's grandmother said.
She gave her a kiss and said, I have something to show you. Then she went to the closet. Julie's grandfather leaned closer and whispered to Julie, everyone who came here has given a castle. Mine was on Hester Street. It was so tall the pigeons couldn't fly all the way up to the roof. I had to carry them there.
Okay, so hold on, I want to talk about, why do you think it's important that we're talking about this text? Why do you think it's important that we go back through and we figure out what those words mean and we talk about making predictions? Amy? No. Sit up. Actually stand. You don't get to use a chair. Goodness gracious, girlfriend. Okay, why do you think it's important? Turn and talk to your partners, your neighbors, your table groups. Okay. Why do you think it's important? No, you turn and talk. You can talk to Amy. Okay, come on, talk about why do you think it's important we discuss this text? Stop doing that to your life.
Here's your name. Okay. Where is it? It already ends in a, doesn't it?
Okay, and we have to do, all right, Isa.
Ownership.
Okay, and we have to do something called inferencing, which is a fancy way of saying we're making guesses. We're kind of, we're discussing the story and we're saying, I think this is kind of a tall tale, or, whatever. You keep it to yourself. Okay, and we're kind of having to say, well, based on that Julie's grandmother already said, no, that's malarkey, or no, that's malarkey, right? You're full of baloney. That don't listen to another word, right? We're making the assumption that, but about the other stories that he tells.
So it's not
So Haiti, yeah, right. So that he likes to tell a tall tale. What does a tall tale mean? What is a tall tale? Amy, do you know what a tall tale means?
Does that make sense, Elena?
I can't hear you, honey.
Possessives.
Honey, you could have joined another partner, but you need to quit treating everybody so sassy today. Okay? But nobody said in their partner groups what a tall tale was.
We don't get that much sleep because us, the kids, we have to wake up early to get here.
Well, then you should go to bed early too. All right. Okay. So what did you and your partner discuss?
So we tried to discuss that.
Just let me see.
Well, no, I asked Sam to say it.
I'm gonna tell me what it says.
No, I want Sam to say it because he should have been listening to what you said.
We must sleep.
Right? So what did you and your partner discuss?
Discussing that
So does that
I
tell
was
me?
listening, it's just I forgot.
Well, no, you shouldn't have forgot already. Brayden, that needs to be put away. Right? We shouldn't have forgot already, so that means you're not being a very active partner. 2 seconds later, you shouldn't have forgotten. But, okay, so what do we think that tall tale means? Tall tale, a tall tale. Sophia?
It's like something is taller and then you're telling a tale.
So is somebody really tall telling a tale? So I couldn't tell a tall tale because I'm short?
No, like a. No, you're tall.
Oh, I'm tall compared to first
No.
graders especially.
Like it's a tail and then it's with tall stuff.
Okay, so it's a story about just tall things? Okay. Ashlyn, what do you think a tall tale is?
A fake story made up.
A fake made up story? Anybody can anybody build on that a little bit? Louise?
A tall tale is.
I know that was always a lot.
A tall tale is a place that's like very, very high.
So you're thinking it's actually a tall place?
Yeah, because if you look at the picture where it says parade, Rukia shouted, you can see the castle is above the clouds.
Okay, right. So we see the castles above the clouds. So, Jaya, what do you think a tall tale is?
Yeah, I went on to like a happy.
Okay. Troy, what do you think a tall tale is?
I think the tall tale has like a pretty tall lesson.
Okay. Amy?
Tall tale is like a castle is tall and it's like in the picture.
Okay, so what you should be saying right there is, I agree with Luis, and if you have anything to add, you'd say I build on what he says. Right? You don't just say the same thing over again. Because you guys have good ideas, so we don't need to waste all of our time just repeating the same things that everybody said. We can say, I agree with, and I would like to build on or add to. Okay, Valerie, what are you going to add to it then, quickly?
So what I was gonna add is like it's like this castle that is big
Okay. Rudy?
It's a shape as a tail and like it's tall.
It's shaped like a tail and it's tall. Okay. So right now we have a very literal meaning, like understanding what tall tail means. So you think it's exactly what it says. A tail that's tall, or shaped that, or a tail is in a story that's tall. Valerie, what do you think? Do you have anything different to add or build on anybody's? Hey, you need to be participating. Okay, it's important that everybody's brains be a part of this. Okay, so a tall tale is actually, okay, whose phone is going off again? It sounded like it was coming from over here. Oh, okay. Well, throwing its voice. I didn't mute my phone. No. Okay. Kennison, put your phone in the phone basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So a tall tale is when you are like kind of stretching the story and adding to it, Jaya, and stretching it to where it's not true, right? Where it's very exaggerated. It's not true at all. What? Yeah. Okay, your tale, your story. When it's a tall tale, it's been stretched until the point that it's really not true anymore. Amy, you need to stay on the same text as the rest of us. Okay, so when I say, oh, this is like a tall tale, or are you telling me a tall tale? Because you were like, oh, I just found this paperclip over there, and it didn't, it just magically appeared over there, when really the part of the story was, well, I threw it over there and then I found it, or whatever. Like the tall tale is kind of where you expand it and be like, and then the paperclip fell out of the ceiling onto my desk, and and add to it where it's not even remotely true anymore. What, Louise?
It's right here.
Yeah, there's a scab because
It's like everywhere.
right. So quit scratching it because you're just gonna make it bleed. You just gotta let it heal. Okay. All right.
I've been
Okay.
waiting for so long and they just get worse and worse.
Okay. Well, you keep picking at it. Yesterday was now leave it alone, please. Okay. On page 133, Julie's grandfather told Julie that everyone who came here was given a castle. His was on Hester Street. And notice that was the title of the story, right? Castle on Hester Street. Why do you think the author chose this title? Why do you think that the author, baby, get in your own space, girl. Baby, your own space. I know, honey, but we've got to try to meet you. Okay? Remember, 3 feet, girlfriend. If it's not letting you, I don't understand why it won't let you log on there. Let me get the borrowed Chromebook. Oh, I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. You need to bring your clever badge. Okay. Okay, why do you think that? Quit picking at it. You're only going to make it worse, dude.
That's gonna make it worse.
Okay. Why do you think the author chose that title? Castle on Hester Street. What do you think, Suhaiti? Okay, but we talked about that. Did he really? Okay. What do you think, Amy?
So everybody got a castle and
But did
built on Hester Street.
but my question, did they really get a castle?
No.
No. Okay, Troy, what do you think?
So I think why is because the whole entire thing. So if they didn't pass the test on Ellis Island, they could have not gotten a castle.
But did they really get a castle?
No.
Okay. So remembering that they really didn't get a castle. But do you think that the way Grandpa's saying this, that he thinks it was a great experience to come to America? Yes. He was happy to be there, right?
Yeah.
Now his wife goes and tells the truth, but Grandpa has built this up in his mind, really to try to make it such a great experience, because it was a good experience in the end, right? He got treat that chair correctly, or you will lose it. Okay, so it's to emphasize how great an experience it was for Julie's grandparents to come to America, even though they didn't really get a castle in the end. It was still a very good experience for them to come, right? Okay. Turn the page. Let's see. What? Do you look different? Amy, I will happily talk about that at recess, okay?
Wisconsin?
We're going to stay on task. Troy, is it on task? Nope. Okay. Okay, so we're now on page 134. Who would like to, Rudy, got to turn the page, bud. Oh. Daniel, wake
I
up.
was trying to say, may I read the next page?
Okay, Troy, you read 134. Sam, you read 135. Okay?
I can read the next one.
We'll see, maybe.
On the next.
What do we?
Julie's
I
grandmother.
was on page 20.
Whoa. Okay. It's not your private chit chat time, ladies.
On page 30. On page 35, I'm saying, I'm
Jay, you
telling
need to
a
sit.
story that wasn't even real
Okay. Jaya, honey, sit up.
about
Thank you, girlfriend. Okay. We're going to let Troy start.
Julie's grandmother came back to the sofa carrying a box. Did Grandpa tell you about the horrible little room he shared with Louie and Peter?
Oh, Louis the
Louie
cigar maker.
the cigar maker and Carmen the tailor. She asked as she sat down. In those days, people had to take in orders to help pay the rent. Life was hard. Grandpa had a push cart. He sold buttons 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. The only rest he got was on Sabbath. Poor Grandpa, Julie said, and she patted on his
He
hand.
just patted his hand. Okay. Sam, read the next page and then we'll. I need that. Thank you. So live up on the counter. You can have it back at the end of the day. Okay. Sam, read it.
Julie's grandfather was caught with for a moment. Then he said, "But what buttons I had? Buttons carved from diamonds, emeralds, and rubies. Buttons was as big as saucers.
Sorcerers.
Buttons as big as plates. Buttons you could use as sleds in the snow." Julie's grandfather sighed loudly. Grandpa sold small buttons, small enough to fit your buttonholes.
Okay.
"I'll show you," he said as she opened the box. The box was filled with photographs. Julie's grandfather
Grandmother.
mother took out an old photograph in a cardboard frame. In it, Julie's grandfather stood next to his pushcart, which was full of little buttons.
Okay, so we're gonna discuss these a bit. Okay, so right there, we know that Julie's grandpa tends to put what we called. Has anybody heard the expression rose-colored glasses?
Yeah.
Jay, I need you to sit up, scoot in your chair so you can actually look at the text and don't put your arms on top of all the words. Okay, rose-colored glasses. If you see the world through rose-colored glasses, what that means is it's an expression that you see, you see it in rose-colored glasses. You see all the rosy parts of life. You see all the good things. Okay, and have you guys ever? We've read a lot of Pete the Cat. I remember when we were in first and second grade,
Yeah.
third graders, right? And we talked about how Pete was always super positive, right? I like my white shoes. I like my white shoes. Okay, and then he steps in stuff and he gets them blue or whatever. I like my blue shoes. I like my blue shoes, right? Okay, yep. Okay. Shh. Thank you. So I'm just gonna, we're making a kind of a text-to-text connection. I'm gonna build on that idea a little bit. So Pete the Cat is always wearing his rose-colored glasses. And what that means is he's not actually wearing glasses that turn everything rosy colors, right? But it means that he's looking at the world in a positive light. Okay. Did we ever read the book of all the Pete the Cat books? Did we read the book of his cool blue shades?
No.
I don't. A couple of you say maybe we did. We may have. So I like the book in his cool blue shades because it's like Pete's having a really crummy day. Hold on. Pete's having a really crummy day. And his friend comes along and says, the sun is shining, the grass is green, everything's going to be all right. And Pete says, like, why do you feel that way or whatever? And he says, oh, because I'm wearing my cool blue shades. And he says, why don't you borrow them? Okay. And then Pete goes around and he goes, oh, yeah. The sun is shining, the grass is green, everything's going to be all right. Okay, and then he comes across some of his friends, and each one of his friends kind of having a rough time. He says, "Yeah, try on my cool blue shades. They give the world a whole new glow or something." And he passes them on, and his friends try them. And pretty soon they're seeing the sun is shining, the grass is green, and everything's doing all right. Okay, and then by the end of the book, at the very end of the book, spoiler alert, the glasses break, and Pete's like, no, right? And he's like, no. And one of his friends points out, hey, look, those glasses weren't actually magic, dude. It was your choice, like how you were choosing to look at the world. And he goes, all right, the sun is shining, the grass is green, it's a good day, everything's gonna be all right. Okay? What?
On Friday's video, they have the same thing, but it's red.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the rose-colored glasses, right? And so maybe they're really doing a good thing about playing on that word, because the rose-colored glasses means you can look at the world, you can look at what's going on, and you go, you know what?
And it did the same thing.
We're doing all right, right? Maybe we had a test in math, and that wasn't so great. However, that means we get to move on to the next section, the next module, and I'm kind of excited about that. We're doing all right. Or maybe at recess I fell and I bonked my knee and that kind of stank. But you know what? I got up, brushed myself off, and I know I'm doing all right because we're going to move on into to science next month, my favorite, or whatever. But trying to look at the best parts of life, and so we see that Grandpa really does that, right? And anytime Julie's grandma tries to shine light on the fact that his stories are a little bit fake, he's like, yeah, but remember I sold those buttons, and I had buttons of every shape and size and color, and he's just trying to make the world and his memories into this rosy perfection. What, Troy?
So in the book Pete the Cat Yard Day, that my sister checked out. I read it to her, and basically, so Pete is having a yard day.
Okay.
And
Troy,
so-
does this have anything to do with what we're talking about?
yes, you're coming.
Okay, hurry up.
And then he keeps losing the games, and he gets like a hissy fit, and then his friends cheer him on, and then he scores better at the games and then wins the first prize.
Okay.
I think that's a little off chance.
It's a little bit off, like it's because it's not exactly just him like trying to change his perspective. That's a lesson where he learns that you gotta work hard to get what you want. You're not just gonna win on that. But anyway, so it's a little off task. Anyway, right. So we know right there. We know Julie's grandfather likes to tell stories. Right? We know that he didn't really come over on a magical goat in a golden wagon, right? We know that he came over on, both of them came over on a crowded boat to America. And right there, it says, life is hard. Grandpa had a push cart. He sold buttons for 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. He only got to rest on Sabbath, right? So does life sound very easy?
No.
And so that's why I'm kind of saying he's putting on his rose-colored glasses, okay? Life was not easy for her grandparents. But he worked hard, and he just always kind of tried to stick to the positive side of life. Okay, let's talk about, did Grandpa tell you about the horrible little room he shared with Louis, the cigar maker, and Herman, the tailor? What's a tailor? What's a tailor? Turn back to your partners. Tell them what you think. Louise, we're going to talk about Amy. What do you want to share? What do you want to share?
I'm kind of like too late now.
Oh!
Or maybe a tailor.
Can you tell me where you have this? Context. I will let you share it after we have our discussion. You can contact me, okay? If you would please have your discussion with Amy. Okay.
Is like house.
Okay.
That's a
Amy, what do you think?
It's like a house.
Thanks.
Probably a house.
Well,
No idea.
Miss Sessions asking the question
So
again.
my two things are Taylor is his engineer and a button. I'm gonna do.
What? What is a tailor? You guys need to pay attention. Dude, what? Why are you in my space? You're in my space. I'm like running away from you. What?
I'm done playing all the Wonder games.
Okay, screaming. You know that. You don't need to come and announce it to me. Okay. 1, 2, 3. That wasn't. I forgot my part. I was gonna say 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, and then you guys are supposed to say 1, 2, eyes on you. Okay, so let's come together. What is a tailor? What's a tailor? Anybody? Amy.
I think it's a bookmaker.
A bookmaker. Okay, what do you think? Anybody else? Valerie, what do you think a tailor is? A what?
No.
A what? A castle?
Castle
but
is just
how could, remember it says Herman the tailor. So you're saying the castle's name is Herman? Does that make sense?
no.
We've got to use what's in the text, okay, girlfriend? Go in the text. Okay, so a tailor. Ashley and Sophia, did you guys talk at all about what a tailor was? Did you figure it out? Did you think? Well, because you guys didn't listen to the question initially. Okay, Troy.
So what Sam said that he thinks a tailor is a button maker, and I think a tailor is an engineer.
Okay, well, I guess it's a good thing I asked this question because nobody got it right. So that means that that's okay. It means that we just need to, you guys need to get really good about saying, Miss Kennison, what the heck does that word mean?
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
What does
Right? If you guys don't know what a word means, we need to figure it out, whether it's by looking in the text and seeing if it's in the text or just by discussing it and everything else. Valerie, please don't play with that. I want you need to sit up, okay, and pay attention. So I want you to look down at your clothes right now. Have you noticed how your clothes are sewn together, shooting birds? And sometimes, like, you notice Miss Kennison often has a lot of pants that are too long because I'm a short person. But sometimes I can take my pants to somebody and they'll shorten it up for me. Okay, they'll make them fit me right. They'll either cut off some at the bottom or just fold it up and sew it. Okay. I've taken in jackets, even like a suit jacket, and they fitted it to where it would fit in my my body. A lot of times men will go and get fitted for suits or for pants and stuff. And a tailor will then sew those things up to fit your measurements. Okay? They don't always make all the clothes themselves, but they at least make them fit your measurement. Louise, did you have something that you wanted to add to our conversation from earlier? Or do you want to sulk? Okay. All right. Right, and then it says in those days people had to take in boarders to help pay rent. What is a boarder? What's a boarder? So there should have been another one. Miss Kennison.
What is a boarder?
What the heck does a boarder mean? What does it mean? Okay. Okay, so let's look at the text. It says, in those days, people had to take in boarders to help them pay rent. Well, I know rent is when I pay to live in a space, right? Or I pay to use a space. That's rent, right? And so boarders are people who would pay you to let you stay in the space that you're renting, or people who are renting a space from you. So, like, for example, I could let people come into my house and I could let them rent a room from my house. And, and usually they'll get access. They can use the things in the kitchen or whatever else. But what they're renting is that room. That room is the real space that they're renting. Okay? Right. But, okay, so they're renting a room from somebody else's apartment or house, okay, because they need the money, and there's 3 of them crammed in there. It's renting one room. Okay, and then, we know life was hard. Grandpa had a push cart, which we can guess is some type of cart that you push, right? The only rest he got was on Sabbath. You guys know what Sabbath is?
What is Sabbath?
Miss Kennison, what is Sabbath? What does that mean?
What is it?
Okay. What word kind of gives a clue? It says the only rest he got was on Sabbath. So Sabbath is a day of rest. Okay, Sabbath means a day of rest. And it's especially connected and tied to religion. Okay? Connected and tied to religion. So you don't just play by staring at yourself. I'm sorry. Okay. So it's your day of rest. So a lot of people call Sunday the Sabbath day, and that's the day of rest. Certain religions say that you really can't do anything that day, like you can't work hard on a Sunday because that's your day to rest and to give thanks and thank the Lord and everything else. That's their belief for what the Sabbath day is made for. Other religions believe that Sabbath day is Saturday. So anyway, but essentially it means your day of rest. Okay. What, Troy?
For some reason, I thought Sabbath was a day of rest, and I was correct. And my Sabbath day is Friday.
Okay, but not really. I mean, that's not really like a religious day. So that's what I think it's more connected to. Excuse me.
It's not just one day.
What are you doing? You can sit there and wait politely until we're done with our discussion.
Totally.
That was not very polite. You don't just get to decide that it's time for you to put that. Okay, very quickly it says, Julie's grandfather was quiet for a moment. Then he said, but what buttons I have? Buttons carved from diamonds, emeralds, and rubies. Buttons as big as saucers. Buttons as big as plates. Oh, we have great writer's craft there. Great writer's craft. Similes. Do you guys remember what a simile is? What's a simile, Amy?
A simile is like a comparison between another thing.
Very good. Pat yourself on the back. Kiss your brain. If you guys knew that, wonderful. Agree. Okay. A similar is a comparison, comparing two different things. Oftentimes very different things, but you're trying to make an exaggeration, and you use like or as for a simile. Okay, we are going to stop there. And we will come back to this tomorrow.
The blue jacket. It looks cold outside.